Okay, Pyros, welcome back. Jam 750, stash video part 2. A little bit smaller, we just counted. It's about 20, 23, 24 cases, something like that. A lot of partial stuff. So let's get into it. Alrighty, first thing, we have a case of Freedom Rising. That was actually purchased last year. Just so everybody knows, most of this stuff you see here was all purchased last year for this year's show. So it was stored away in the other garage. We brought it all down, and a lot of it's in this year's show, and that was the plan. So, Freedom Rising, it's a great little red, white, and blue cake from Superior. Bought it last year, bought 2 last year actually. Sent one up in September. I did a video, a salute to our service members and veterans, where I lit off 10 of these at one time, the Wall of Freedom they call that. It's just amazing. So now that I have a whole case of them, still have a whole case, next year at our 250, I'm going to do all 16 at one time, Wall of Freedom, red, white, and blue. So that'll be coming next year. And then this was a pickup in September when we were out here for Guys Weekend last year. And we stopped in an Elite. We picked up the Jupiter box, Gone Past Jupiter, I think is the 2 cakes that are in there. It's the same thing. Never shot it. It's not in this year's show. I don't know when I'll shoot it, but I've got it. Ultimate Pyro, we also picked this up by T-Sky back in September as well. That's a 3-1. There's 3 cakes per case. And so this is in the show this year. All 3 of those are at different times going up. I think they're all going with something else, a 200 grammer, because this is a 8-shot, 2-inch bore. It's some gorgeous big breaks. So that's all gone. The stuff that's in the line here is all the stuff you saw this morning. That's just starting to get ready for the show. So this here is the Jinja Super Rack by Elite Fireworks as well. And we did, it's a NOAB, 2-inch NOAB. And we shot this last year. Great cake. Great NOAB. So we picked it up again in September. Again, not in this show, but it is Willow's. So most likely it'll be in next year's show since I've got that Willow segment. All right. Something else we got last year as well. We got a case of Shaman by Smokin' Alien, 500 gram cake. I believe it's a 6-1. Nice hitting cake. That's in this year's show for sure. I believe 4 of them are going up in the finale. We have another case of Instant Thunder. We used this last year, and again, I explained it in my earlier video. This is actually a 12-1, so they're smaller cakes. I don't know if you can see, but if you look over here, right there, that's the one I showed earlier, and that's a 4-1, same thing, much bigger. So I don't know if I'm going to go with the 4-1s and use those 2 big cases, or do these small ones again this year and save those for next year when it's the 250th anniversary. That's the way I'm leaning. Either way, I will do Instant Thunder. It's just a matter if you get big boom or smaller boom. So we'll see. Then we've got a case of Freak Show from Zombie brand. Picked that up again as well last year. So that's a full case, another 6-1, and that's going to be in this year's show as well. 4 of those going up in the finale. This is left over from last year, a case of H-Town Madness. That's going up this year in the show. I'm fusing up all 3, or wiring up all 3, and so all 6 are going to go at one time. We still have the Founders set we got last year. Haven't shot it. It's unopened. It's not in this year's show. Might be in next year's. I got to look at the colors again, see how much red, white, and blue there is. If not, we'll just send it up whenever we have time, but don't really have a plan for that one. There are 6 350 gram cakes that hit like 500 gram cakes. We got a whole case of USA Smoke. Bought this also in September from Elite. It's got the red, the little hole in the middle and puts out. So anyway, as I mentioned earlier, we do a boat parade here on the 4th. We shoot daytime smoke cakes, and we also light those remotely with our system towed behind the boat. So we're dragging smoke all the time and shooting smoke in the air. So a lot of fun. And then we've got Sensei 500 gram cake. That's a nice cake. That's a 4-1. That was also slated for my finale, all 4 of them, but I may check that, save that, because that's a much nicer cake to waste as Sky Puke, in my opinion. So I think I'll replace it with Deadpool right here, because that's a 6-1, and I can use up that whole case, all 3 at a time, and replace it with that Sensei and use that Sensei somewhere else in the show, because that's a good cake. Now we get into a little bit more heavy hitters. Again, this is all stuff purchased last year. You saw this last year in my stash video. Sloth. That's in this year's show because it's color and bang, and so that's in our color segment this year. Santa Baby, which is just a great wrap. Again, I know a lot of guys look at all that 1%er and all that, those guys, freaky guys and zombie guys and sticking out their tongues and all that. Well, I don't know, call me crazy, but I'd rather look at a gorgeous woman on a wrap than all that freaky stuff. But maybe that's just me. I don't know, maybe I'm different than everybody else. So moving on, we've got Bumble. This is going up. This is not in our big show on the 5th, but it's going up on the 4th. So we do a smaller show on the 4th with only one position. So Bumble will go up with Troopers on either side of it because it's the same effect cake. So that's going up this year on our 4th of July show. That's actually on the 4th. Our big show is actually going to be on the 5th this year. So this will go up the night before. I'm definitely going to try and film both shows and get them up. Well, like I said, Den Fireworks will be here on the 5th, so I'm sure he'll film for me and post on his channel first and then mine. Because again, I'm not trying to grow my channel. If I can help him out, I'd much rather do that. And anyway, but I will try and film the 4th show and get that up. And then Goonies, 2-inch, again, great color, good bang. That's also in our show this year in the color segment. So that'll be going up. Looking forward to that. And then we got, this is left over from last year. We had a full case. We're down 4, so we're down to what, 8 cakes of that little banger kazoo. That's not technically in our show, but we will. That's a fun little cake just to send up. Okay, now we get into some shells left from last year. This is actually 2 years ago, maybe 3. It's a box of Manhattan shells by SFX, Manhattan Project shells. And in that tote I showed you in the first stash video, it had a box of these. Here's the other kit. So there was 2 kits, but only one was in that tote. That was my mistake. I didn't realize that. We had ginger shells left from last year. And again, we have 2 other full sleeves in that tote. We had Hydra bombs left, and we have 2 other full sleeves in that tote. And then Double Jeopardy shells, we have, again, 1 full kit and then 2 sleeves in that tote as well. And then the last thing we have here, we've got tons of igniters. I think we've got 15 boxes of igniters, all different kinds of igniters and clips and tape and everything for our systems, for both of our Ignite and our Mongoose system. And then I didn't want to carry all this stuff down because I'm getting tired of moving all these fireworks, but up here still on the pallet, we have a big 1-1 Grogu, 232 shots. This is not going up in our show this year. We're actually taking that out September to the open shoot with the club night. We're going to shoot that then. And then we have some American Firepower red, white, and blue shells. We used them last year. That's also going to be a next year's show because of red, white, and blue. And then we have 2 other SFX cakes, half a case, or grand finale. We shot 2 last year, and these aren't slated for our show this year, so we'll probably send them up, one night this week, one night, one another. But anyway, that is the second stash and the end of our stash for this year. And there's stuff that we did earlier, getting ready to go back into storage. And so thank you, Pyros, for stopping by, seeing my stash. It's like I said, this is part 2. It's smaller. And most of this stuff you saw last year, with the exception of the Elite stuff over there. We bought that in September. So, alrighty, looking forward to sending this stuff all up. Thanks for stopping by. Jam 750's out.